So I decided to make this YouTube channel just because I tend to get a lot of questions about travel nursing, like about what it is, how to become one, what are the requirements, how do you find housing, just a lot of different questions from both healthcare professionals and non-healthcare professionals. So I figured that making a YouTube channel and just kind of documenting my life as a travel nurse and just answering questions that anyone has would be a good way to get the information out there. So in this first video, I'm just going to kind of try to answer general questions about travel nursing. And so if you would like to know a little bit more information, just stay tuned, guys. So travel nursing is essentially nurses that are contracted to work in hospitals on a temporary basis based off what your specialty is. So this concept was kind of brought about due to the nursing shortage. And so what it does is it gives nurses an opportunity to live in different areas, different states. You can even go out of the country on a temporary basis, and you get to travel while you work. So the requirements can be dependent on a few different things. They can be dependent on your agency. They can decide to not take anyone who doesn't have at least a year experience or 2 years experience. It can be dependent on the hospital. They might say no first-time travelers. They might say you need 2 years of experience. Or it might be dependent on your specialty. And some specialties, such as ICU, do require like at least 1 year experience before you start traveling. And then it can also be dependent on just you, how you feel. Are you confident enough to move to a different hospital and only have maybe 1 to 3 days of orientation before you start on a new unit? It's all very dependent on a lot of different factors. You also have to be mindful that different hospitals and different units have different requiremements for their nurses. While some may require you to only have maybe like a PALS, an ACLS, some may require an NRP, some may require different certifications. So that's always something that your agency will let you know before you start an assignment. And in some cases, they might reimburse you for those costs, or it might have to be an out-of-pocket expense. So you also need to keep in mind that you need to have a nursing license in the state that you want to travel to. So if you're living in California and you're practicing as a nurse in California, of course you have a California nursing license. But if you want to do an assignment in, say, Arizona, you need to apply to the Arizona State Board of Nursing and apply for licensure in that state also. So this is another question that can be dependent on a lot of different factors. Generally speaking, in America, travel nurse contracts are 13 weeks. However, you do have the option in some cases to do shorter contracts as low as like 4 weeks and longer contracts up to like 26 weeks or more. There are also options to do things such as like strike nursing. So when nurses go on strike, that you would fill in for those, 3 days or a week or however long they're on strike. There's registry nursing, which is like an agency that provides like per diem nurses. There's a lot of different options, but generally speaking, like I said, for travel nurses in America, the contracts are generally 13 weeks. So housing and where you live is a big part of travel nursing. Once you decide on which contract you're going to do and you have everything straight, your agency will sometimes give you the option of either taking a furnished apartment or they will give you a monthly stipend and you can find your own housing. So if you take a furnished apartment, keep in mind that it's not always going to be a luxurious one-bedroom apartment with all the amenities that you want. You might get placed in a studio, you might get placed in an extended stay. It's just dependent on what's available in the area that you're traveling to. With that being said, you might not always get a television in your apartment. You might not always get cable provided in your apartment. Generally, your utilities will be paid for, like your electric bill, your water, your trash, that kind of stuff is usually taken care of. But if you want internet, if you want cable, sometimes you'll have to come out of pocket and pay for that on your own. You are also able to travel, say, with your spouse, your kids, your pet, whatever it may be. Just talk to your recruiter, your agency, and they'll let you know what they can accommodate. For me, example, I travel with my dog, and I usually take the stipend, but if I, for some reason, have to take the furnished apartment, I just let them know and they'll find somewhere that's pet friendly, and I'll be responsible for any pet rent or pet deposit that the apartment complex requires. If you do choose to take the stipend, just remember that it is up to you to find housing for the duration of your assignment. Your housing money will be tax-free if you have a permanent tax residence that is greater than 50 miles away from your assignment. And if you don't have somewhere that's more than 50 miles away from your assignment that you still pay on, then your housing money will just be taxed. So the last question that I usually get is about transportation to and from your assignment. So if you're living in New York and you do an assignment in California, um, are you required to drive the whole way? What is the deal with that? So you are responsible for getting yourself from New York to California. And depending on the agency that you're working with, they may reimburse your mileage, they may reimburse your plane ticket, whatever it is that you use to get from point A to point B. They may possibly reimburse you for that. And then they may also reimburse you to travel back home once your assignment is finished. So it really depends on what agency. Talk to your recruiter or whoever it may be that you're working with to get your contract together, and they will give you some further information about that. So, those are the most general questions that I tend to get on a daily basis about travel nursing. If you guys have any more questions or you want more information, feel free to leave a comment down below. You can follow me on my Instagram. I'll also leave that down below because I'm going to be documenting this traveling experience as it continues to unfold. So, you guys, I hope you enjoyed that. I hope it was very informative for you. And whatever else you would like to know, just let me know, guys. Thanks. Bye.